Hello, my name is Tony Kent, and my passion in life is helping people to help themselves. I like to share the lessons that I've learned in my life that have allowed me to create a really abundant life, just even more than I ever could have imagined. And what I like to share is the spiritual principles, the personal growth principles, the disciplines that allowed me to overcome many obstacles and challenges and come out of a deep depression and almost bankruptcy and end up living a life that, like I said, I don't know how I could have dreamed of it. In the beginning, I had the same kind of experiences that probably a lot of you have had. I met a lot of challenges. I had a lot of setbacks. My life was like a roller coaster ride. Growing up, I was taught that the way to success, the way to have happiness is to go to school, study hard, go to college, get a job, get a six-figure income, marry, have kids, and live a life that at that time people looked at, keeping up with the Joneses, however you want to talk about it. Somehow I never really fit into that mold. Even as a young boy, one of the first things that happened to me was in school, and I was running down a hill, and some kids tripped me when we were playing, and I hit my head in a rock. I had a fractured skull and a concussion. I ended up in the hospital for a long time. But out of that came some goodness, because I had a hobby, which was magic, card magic and magic tricks. And I used to go to the library, and my mom would bring me back books. And one day I had this book that was, how to make a friend disappear at the dinner table. But that led me to kind of look at the mystical side of life, at the magic of having a connection with God, and the magic of spiritual values and the different religions and paths. But then I went back to school and I got caught up in a complete material life again. I always did have a creative bent, and I ended up moving to Europe, and I became a fashion photographer. I had a lot of success working for Vogue and Elle and Marie Claire, and photographing some of the most famous people in the world and the world's most beautiful women, and traveling all over. I got married. I had 4 phenomenal kids. I was making a lot of money, hanging out with the Stones and the Beatles. I was the official photographer for Princess Grace of Monaco. It was just a great time. But then when I came back to America, I ran into some obstacles. My marriage, which I thought I was the perfect husband and perfect father, I'd made this tapestry of, I'd woven a tapestry of like a Norman Rockwell painting, that everything was so good in my life. It all kind of fell apart when my wife decided she needed to go in a different direction. And I was left alone, and I was taking care of my 4 kids, and I went into a 4-year depression. I mean, a funk so bad that I had no idea how I was going to get out of it. One of my friends said, "Tony, that's the longest bull ride I ever saw." And the reason that I was in so much pain was because I felt I wasn't getting the love the way I should get it. Things weren't coming to me. I wasn't getting what I deserved. I kept thinking, why do bad things happen to good people? And all these things were what I had grown up and been taught, to expect, and they weren't coming. And so I was disillusioned and disappointed. Then what happened is that one day I was coming home from doing some errands, and I walked into my living room, and I had this gigantic house, over 6,000 feet, and tons of things to take care of. And my teacher always said, "Don't be a slave to the material world, let the material world be your slave." But I can promise you I was a slave to this material world just to pay the bills every month. But anyway, I came home one day, and my youngest son kind of grabbed me around the legs, and my daughter jumped up in my arms, and they hugged me and kissed me, and were showering all this love on me. And for a moment after all these years, this cloud lifted. And inside my heart, I felt some joy. I felt something so fantastic. And later that night, I was sitting and I was kind of contemplating, what was that feeling of joy? Because it had been so long since I'd felt it. And then it dawned on me, this revelation, that my pain was not what I wasn't getting. My pain was from the fact that I wasn't giving. I was not living as an extension of God. I was not loving unconditionally. I was waiting and expecting and wanting things to come my way, and this expectation was causing me misery. But the moment that I opened my heart and that I started to love again, then joy started to be permeate in my being, and I started to feel wholesome and feel good about everything that was happening for me now. So later that night, I kind of sat down and I looked around me and I thought about all the things. You know, God gave me this beautiful home. It was full of beautiful objects. But I walked into the bedroom of my kids and I sat and looked at them sleeping, and I was overcome with emotion and this strong, incredible feeling of love just pouring out of my heart. And I realized, you know, as my teacher says, you know, you couldn't go to the market and spend $10 million and get one of these kids. And it's really true. And all of a sudden, that moment, that just revelation just started to turn my life around. And I started to get passionate about giving love and doing things and not thinking about me, but thinking about others. I ended up discovering a tape that led me into network marketing. I built a huge business with blue-green algae. I was earning almost a six-figure income a month. My life was like completely back on track. And because my life wasn't so grounded, because I wasn't following, you know, the spiritual principles that I've now come to learn, again, I ended up losing everything and almost went into bankruptcy. I ended up, you know, like having to get rid of that big house, scaling everything down. I was leading a life of voluntary simplicity. And then again, God rewarded me with discovering another business that worked and that fit with me. The business that I'm currently in now and doing extremely well again. Because it's a business that serves others and because it allows me to serve others. And the lesson that I got out of this, I put into a little ebook called The Art of Abundance. And if you go to tonykent.com/abundance, you can download this book for free. And after creating this book, I was kind of searching on the internet recently, and I came across, so actually somebody has sent me a book. Mike Koenig sent me a book from somebody called Brendon Burchard called The Instant Million, no, is it the Millionaire Messenger. And this book just, wow, it was so powerful, it just grabbed me in the gut. And I went online, I started looking up things about Brendon, and I came across something called the Expert Academy. And in watching that, he's talking about how you can create a six-figure income from an ebook, a six-figure income from seminars, a six-figure income from webinars, putting all the steps together. And in this video, he talked about making a video just like this one. He said, make a video and enter it in my contest, and I'll give $1,200 to the winner. Well, I'm in a position in my life where I thank God that $1,200 is not what I'm after here, but it was just the message was so powerful, and it has made such an impact on me, and I know and on so many other people, because whenever I bring up his name, they have the same impact, that I just said, you know, I'm going to play this game. I'm going to do what he says, because this is somebody that is a great mentor. He has great ability, and so putting together this video, it gave me a yearning to share some of these ideas and principles with you that have allowed me to have all that I have and to become who I've become. And I want to give this to other people. I know a video is kind of short to do this in, but in Art of Abundance, you're going to learn one of the things that, you know, like as he made a roadmap on how to build all these projects, I want to help people with a roadmap on building themselves. Because I don't think you can build a business bigger than you are. I think that the most important thing that you do is that you structure yourself and your life in a way that's so solid, built on concrete, that nothing can bring it down. And so in The Art of Abundance, I talk about one of the important things is to be able to know how to determine what is your life purpose. How can you figure out what is your life purpose and how can you express it in maybe a dozen words or less so a 10-year-old can understand it. I learned this principle from a book by Lori Beth, and I think it's called The Ongoing Purpose. The book impacted my life a lot, and I'm sorry, I just can't remember exactly the title, but Lori Beth Jones. But anyway, I adapted some of her things and made a system inside this little free ebook of Art of Abundance that it's an exercise that allows you to really get clear on what is your life purpose. And then in another free book that you can get on my site, tonykent.com, Walking in Awareness, I talk about how you set goals in alignment with this purpose. So what this does, it allows you to structure yourself so that you can go out and become who you want to become. And I think that most people that listen to these kind of videos, they're not doing it because they're greedy for more money. They might think that that's what they're after. But what I'm finding is that people are really after wanting to make a difference with their life. They want to connect with people. And they want more so that they can have more, so that they can give more. And I want to help people have more and be more so that they can give more. One of the teachings that my spiritual teacher taught me is, God says, if I could give every living creature everything he wanted, it would not diminish the splendor of my abundance any more than dipping a pin in the ocean would decrease its depth. So do you think that when Brendon's teaching 100,000 other people to be experts, it's going to diminish his ability to be an expert? I think it's going to enhance it. Because I believe the more you give, the more you put in the world, the more there is for people. It doesn't matter how many millions of people are born this year, there's enough air to go around. To me, one of the miracles of God is not just that he created everything, it's how he sustains everything. And I want to give all of you in the coming year tools to be able to do exactly that, to live a life that you're proud of and that inspires other people. Carl Jung said, "Nothing so affects the life of a child as a parent's unfulfilled life." And I know that I feel proud because in my heart I feel I live for my passion. I've always taken great risks. My children have seen that you can do this and that it's possible and that it's a lot easier to create wealth and abundance for yourself doing something you love and you're passionate about if your faith and your belief system is strong enough. So I want to invite you to download that book. I want to invite you to visit my site and get all these free tools. And all I'm asking in return is if it's been helpful for you, send me an email and share that with me because that makes my heart happy. And I am going to be developing a course. I'm doing exactly what Brendon mentioned. And again, I'm not doing it because I need more money. I'm doing it because my passion and my purpose in life, as I said, is helping others help themselves. And for the last 10 years, I've helped my teacher build a nonprofit and helped literally thousands of people to spiritual and emotional and physical well-being. And from the proceeds of helping all these people, I've helped him put together a kindergarten school in Jerusalem for 200 orphans. And I sleep well at night knowing that my interest and my passion in helping others has led to something as great as this. And I love it so much that I want to share it with other people. So I'm really interested in having you connect with some of these things, get value from it. And Brendon, thank you for the opportunity because this idea came from you. It inspired me to share this with other people. It feels great in my heart. And all I can say to all of you is God bless in your journey. Many thanks and many blessings for spending this time with me.